The capture of Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro by U.S. forces has triggered the most serious geopolitical rupture in the Caribbean in decades. What Washington calls a surgical law enforcement operation is being condemned across Latin America and at the United Nations as an illegal act of regime change. For Cuba, the fallout is immediate and existential. In Havana, flags were lowered to half-mast as Cuba announced that 32 of its security personnel were killed during the U.S. operation in Venezuela. Outside the U.S. Embassy, students and residents gathered in protest, chanting slogans against American intervention and warning that Cuba could be next.
There are 32 Cuban deaths. That has hurt me deeply. And Venezuela too. I can't speak. I have no words.
Public anger in Cuba is mixed with fear and defiance. As the island loses its closest political and economic ally, many Cubans see the fall of Maduro as a direct threat to their own country's survival.
We have to stand strong. I am already an older person, but if they give me a rifle, and I'll go fight against those people.
At an emergency meeting of the United Nations Security Council, Venezuela and Cuba accused the United States of violating international law, kidnapping a sitting president, and destabilizing the global order. Caracas demanded Maduro's immediate release, warning that allowing such actions would normalize the use of force over law.
January 3, 2026, is a date of profound historical significance, not only for Venezuela, but for the international system as a whole. On that day, the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela was the target of an illegitimate armed attack lacking any legal justification by the government of the United States of America, which included bombing of our territory, the loss of civilian and military lives, the destruction of essential infrastructure, and the kidnapping of the constitutional president of the republic, Nicolas Maduro, and First Lady Celia Flores.
Cuba's UN ambassador went further, calling the U.S. operation a criminal and imperialist aggression, accusing Washington of seeking to control Venezuela's resources and revive Cold War-era domination in the region.
Cuba condemns in the strongest terms the military aggression of the United States against Venezuela, while categorically reiterating its absolute support and solidarity with the Venezuelan people, and joins the demand that the government of the U.S. release the constitutional president, Nicolas Maduro Moros, and his companion, Celia Flores. In the criminal attack perpetrated by the United States, 32 Cubans lost their lives in combat actions.
U.S. President Donald Trump has made little effort to lower the temperature. Speaking aboard Air Force One, he openly declared that Cuba is on the brink of collapse after losing Venezuelan oil support, suggesting no direct U.S. action may even be necessary.
The things that is happening, and I think you see it all the time. Howard, you've seen it, that Cuba is ready to fall. You know?
Yes.
Cuba looks like it's ready to fall. I don't know if they can hold out. But Cuba now has no income. They got all of their income from Venezuela, from the Venezuelan oil. They're not getting any of it. And Cuba literally is ready to fall. And
what began as a strike on Venezuela has evolved into a system-level confrontation over sovereignty, regime change, and the future balance of power in the Western Hemisphere. Cuba now faces an uncertain future. Venezuela was the strike point. Cuba is the strategic consequence, and the rules governing power, intervention, and international law are now being tested in full view of the world.